Hi, you are watching Dare to Dream, and we're talking about real estate today. I'm your host, Denice Smith, and if you have the deep determination to succeed, you will not fail. Continue to dare to dream with us today, because we are talking about the housing dilemma. And although the housing dilemma might sound a little concerning, it doesn't have to be. A housing dilemma just means that you're going to have to make a very serious decision in regards to purchasing real estate. Now, whether or not you are a renter, whether or not you own a home right now and you're trying to decide, should I keep this home or should I sell it? We are in a housing dilemma. If you are a person that wants to buy real estate, well, then you might want to think about new creative ways to own real estate. You might even decide that you might want to buy with someone else. You might want to pull another family member in and say, I want to buy with you. Maybe it's a cousin, maybe it's a brother, maybe it's a sister, maybe it's even a good friend. But you know what? The housing dilemma will not get you. It will not. The housing dilemma will help you. How will it help you? It will help you in so many different ways. The housing dilemma will make you make serious decisions on real estate. The housing dilemma will make you decide if you should be a renter or should you be a homeowner. I think you need to think about that for a moment. If you think about owning real estate, think about all the different ways to buy real estate. There's one important way that you could purchase real estate, and that might be a first-time buyer. And the housing dilemma is causing even tenants to have a problem with owning and also remaining renters. But that's a housing dilemma that will help you. So just because we call it a housing dilemma, that only means that you will decide on making serious decisions and purchasing real estate in new ways. In new ways. What does that mean? Well, right now, I was reading an article which was really interesting. The article said 70% since the recession has decided that the marketplace is not for them to purchase. 70% in the Bay Area have decided not to purchase real estate. That is a housing dilemma. That's a dilemma that doesn't have to be. I say, think about ways of deciding on, maybe there's a person that you know in your family that owns a property that no longer wants to own that property. And then you decide, well, maybe we can get a couple of family members to purchase that property. Maybe you could buy that property in a way that maybe, just maybe, going together with 3 or 4 people, you don't have to sell that property. You see, there's generational ownership. Now, there's people that have owned real estate for years and years and years. And then you find the last generation that says they don't want to own real estate, they want the cash. So what do? They sell the property. They sell the property, and once they sell the property, they find that they're trying to buy another property. But what they find out in the housing dilemma is that they will not be able to purchase again. So find out if there's somebody in your family that has owned property for a long period of time and they've decided they no longer want to own that property. Well, then guess what? I would say find out a way to keep that property. Don't sell it. Maybe there's something that can keep you from selling that property. So let's talk about it a little bit more. If we had a recession in '08, and they say that we're out of the recession. I don't know if I really want to believe that, but what I do believe is that you can purchase real estate today. I know you can. Even the low to moderate income person can purchase real estate. You could purchase real estate on Social Security. You could purchase real estate on unemployment. You could purchase real estate and generate certain amount of income by renting out rooms. So please, find out if you're low to moderate income. That doesn't mean that it's a death sentence. It doesn't mean that you cannot own real estate. It just means that you have to think of new, creative ways to purchase real estate. Now think, what is a way that you really want, what neighborhood you really want to be in? It may not be the neighborhood that you first can get into, but maybe you might have to lower your standards just a little bit. Lower your standards, so maybe you won't be able to buy a house. Maybe you should buy a condo. Maybe you should buy a planned unit development. What I've noticed is low to moderate income persons are having a very difficult time. But what I know from experience is that I've helped people to purchase property, even being low to moderate income. So think about other people you could pool your money with. Think about other people you could find out that they want to buy too. Maybe there's a friend, maybe there's a neighbor, maybe there's somebody that you could generate and cultivate relationships with. You no longer are going to be by yourself. You're going to have to pull other people together to be able to realize your dreams. Now think about those ways. We've had a major housing dilemma. The housing dilemma has caused people that have owned their properties for 20 and 30 years, they no longer can afford the homes they live in. So what happens is they have to make very tough decisions. They have to make a decision on selling their property or keeping their properties. They have to make a decision on, do they pay their PG&E, or do they pay the phone bill, or do they pay the water bill, or do they pay the mortgage? Those are the serious decisions that you have to create for yourselves when you own property. So when you decide that you wish to own real estate, and you wish to own real estate and keep your property, find out. Talk to other family members that own properties. You'd be surprised. Look at what the properties are selling for around the corner. Look at what the properties are selling for today. Today in your neighborhood. Find out. Choose a real estate agent that you trust. Somebody that you can talk to. Find a licensed real estate professional. Interview them. Talk to them. Find out. Make sure they have a real estate license. It's okay to check their real estate license. But it's important that you find out information so that when it's time to decide if you want to sell your property, don't feel like you have to sell it. Sometimes when you make serious, tough decisions, you have to really inquire with real estate professionals. You have to talk to a licensed accountant. Talk to a CPA, a certified public accountant. Talk to people that will help you. It's really important that you talk to an attorney. Find out just what are your rights as a homeowner. Do you have to sell the property, or do you not have to sell the property? Find out your rights before you sell that property. I'm finding that a lot of people are getting displaced. A lot of people are they're selling their properties, not having enough information to be able to make a sound decision. So if you are that person that is trying to decide on whether or not you should sell your property or keep your property, you can always email me, denicesmith98@gmail.com. It'll show up on the screen. If you ever have a question about whether or not you should stay in your property, sell your property, or even if you just have a general question about buying real estate, it's no problem. Ask the question. And you know what? Ask as many people the question, should you buy? Should you sell? Should you stay in where you are right now? That's a question that only you can answer. But find out from a real estate professional. Talk to a real estate broker. I am a real estate broker. I have been licensed since 1990. I have been in the real estate business since 1979. I started when I was a teenager. I bought my first property when I was 18 years old. So I am somebody that I believe you can trust. But not only that, I have been through the whole gamut of real estate. I've been as a homeowner. I've been there as a tenant. I know what it is to own real estate. So when I speak to you as a real estate broker, I know that you can do exceedingly, abundantly, more than you ever dreamed about doing. So if you are that person today that's wondering, can I own real estate? Should I sell the real estate that I own? Think about talking to real estate professionals. You're not alone. You are not alone in this process. Find out, talk to real estate professionals. Speak to real estate attorneys. Speak to certified public accountants. Make sure you need to speak to licensed professionals. Do not speak to a friend that owns real estate and thinks that they know everything about real estate. Just because you own 2 or 3 pieces of real estate does not mean that you are the authority on the subject. Don't speak to a neighbor because they own 1 piece of property. Speak to a licensed real estate broker. Speak to a certified public accountant. And if you have legal issues, speak to a licensed attorney. Find out what your rights are. If you're a tenant and you're being evicted right now, find out what your rights are. Speak to licensed professionals. Now, we're talking about real estate today, but real estate comes all the way around to owning, selling, buying, and as a tenant, you will own real estate one day. Keep positive about knowing your rights as a homeowner, know your rights as a tenant, know your rights if you're going to sell your property. Think about it. Think about it. When you are looking to own real estate, know that you are the one that needs to have all the professionals. Know that and know it well. You see, because sometimes there are people to take advantage of you. There are people that are just looking out to prey on you. So be very careful when you choose the professional to work with. I cannot stress that enough. Be careful and beware. There's some people that are here to help you, and there's some people that are here to take advantage of you. So real estate is in your grips. You can own real estate. And just because people tell you that you cannot, don't believe them. Do not believe them. Know that you can own real estate and you will own real estate one day. Now, when people want to know, should they sell their property, what I tell people is that write down all the pros, write down all the cons to owning real estate. Write it down. Write down the pros, write down the cons to owning real estate. Whether or not you should own a property or whether or not you should sell a property. Write down and jot down for yourself all the reasons why you should buy, all the reasons why you should sell. If all the positives come out more, then that might mean that you need to move. If they come out less, then you might think about maybe it's not. Not real estate and owning may not be for you right now. You might need to just put it to the side for maybe 6 months to put yourself in a better position. Because you want to be in a good position. Because what that brings me to right now is the F word, foreclosures. We've had over 1 million foreclosures in the last few years. It's affected a whole lot of people. So we don't want you to buy quickly and then find yourself in a situation of the F word. You don't want that. So we want you to be able to know that when you buy that property, that you're comfortable and that you know that you'll be able to sustain yourself in that property. So you always want to have reserves. If you're buying that property and you have no reserves, that's a problem. That's a concern. You know, you don't want to spend more than you make. You see, when you live beyond your means, what's going to happen is you might get yourself in the F word, foreclosure. And I don't want you to do that. I want you to be able to live below your means. Why do you want to live below your means? Because you see, when my grandmother used to tell me, save for a rainy day, I never understood what she meant by that. I understand now. You see, because there will be some times when we're coming to a drought. Like in America right now, we're in a drought. They're saying, be careful about watering your lawns and be careful about washing your cars. They say we're in a drought in California. Well, guess what? Your reserves are also can be in a drought. So if you do not have reserves, how are you going to maintain your everyday life? You might want to choose that you don't need to own that car, that expensive car. Maybe you need to get a car below your means. I know it's real hard because we want everything. We want it all now. We want jewelry. We want cars. We want the $1 million property. But if you do not conserve, and if you do not put yourself in the position of sacrificing what you have right now, you could lose it all. So know that it's important that when you choose to buy real estate, know that it's the best time for you right now. It might not be the best time for you. It might not be. So think about it. As a real estate broker, I work with people every single day. And I talk to them and let them know that might not be the time to purchase real estate. You might need to wait 6 months. 6 months is not forever. It's temporary. It's not forever. But you know what that 6 months will do for you? That 6 months will give you an opportunity to save more money. Save yourself more money, maybe even pay off a few credit cards. Maybe you need to pay down that car note. Maybe you need to pay down that child's tuition. Maybe all the expenses that you have right now, write them all down. Create a budget for yourselves. And I mean if you're a homeowner or if you're trying to buy real estate, create a budget for yourself. This is so important. Because you see, if you don't have a budget for yourself, you know what happens? What happens is it goes like this. You just blow it in the wind. It just goes in the wind. If you do not create a budget for yourself, you will find at the end of the year that when you get that W-2, you'll say, where did my money go? And if you were that person today, you need to create a budget for yourself. If you see that W-2 or you see when you create your tax returns and you say, well, I made that amount of money and you don't know where it went, you might need to wait to purchase real estate. Know where your money is. Know where you're spending it. Know how you're spending it before you choose to purchase real estate. Because real estate will help you secure your financial futures, but also if we go into a recession again, it could cause you to lose a property. And I don't want you to do that. So we're going to talk about the housing dilemma today. Because a lot of people need to know that for every good thing that happens to you, you need to prepare for the things that may go wrong. You see, you need to prepare for deaths. You need to prepare for loss of jobs. You need to prepare for what might and could happen tomorrow. You see, if you don't prepare what would happen today or tomorrow, you could find yourself in a very tough situation. So let's build new communities. Let's build new life. Let's build new good things to happen for us. How do we build new things? Build new communities where you might say, I will never want to live there. Well, guess what? You might be able to go into that community and you yourself may be able to build a whole new community. You might can build a little garden in that area for people to be able to have lemons and have oranges and have greens. You might build that new community for yourself. You may say, I don't want to live in that neighborhood. Well, guess what? That might be just the neighborhood you need to begin your new journey. So don't stay away from certain neighborhoods because you believe that that's not the neighborhood for you. Because guess what? That might be where you should live. Don't put your nose up at different locations because you say that's not your neighborhood. You know why? Because that very neighborhood could be where your new beginning comes from. We have new beginnings. That's why this housing dilemma is just a new beginning. It's just a new journey. It's a new way of thinking. You see, for all the years I've been in real estate, I've seen good things and I've seen some dilemmas. But you know what? The good thing that I've seen is I've seen new children thrive in new neighborhoods. I've seen people to be able to say, I'm not going to live up and keep up with the Joneses any longer. I'm not doing that. I'm going to live within my means. I'm not going to buy that car because I could afford it. I'm going to not buy me a $50,000 car. I'm going to buy me a $20,000 car. Why? I could afford a $50,000 car. Have you ever seen people that are millionaires, billionaires, and they're driving the old beat-up jalopy? You know why? They'll always have money. And you know why they'll always have money? Because they do not choose to keep up with the Joneses. But what you see is they don't live a lavish lifestyle, even though they can. So low to moderate income people need to be able to make decisions for themselves to sacrifice. The housing dilemma means that we need to sacrifice. 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 That is all we're trying to do right now, is to sacrifice. And why do we need to do that? It's because of the people that we run into. You'll be able to help more people with the real estate you own. Maybe you're able to buy a 3-bedroom house instead of a 4-bedroom house. And maybe you'll be able to rent out one of those rooms to people that need you right now. There's a lot of tenants that are getting displaced. They're losing their jobs. They can't afford to live here any longer. The housing dilemma has made us to have new journeys. So what I want you to really know is that you will be able to own real estate, you will be able to create new communities, and you will be able to create new journeys. So right now, if you're in a quandary and you don't really know this housing dilemma on how to fix it and how to do better for your life, what I say to you is to decide if really this housing dilemma is not going to cripple you. It's not even going to hurt you. What it's going to do is it's going to help you to give you new ideas, fresh ideas. It pushes you to excel. It pushes you to make you see new ways of thinking. So what are the new ways? What are the new ways of thinking? The new ways to think is that once you find in a low to moderate income position that you're in, once you decide that it's low to moderate, and you know you're low to moderate, how do you know? Who am I talking to when we speak of low to moderate income? We're speaking of people that make less than $25,000 a year. People that make less than $20,000 a year. That's low to moderate income. If you are that person today, you can still own real estate, but I don't want the market to price you out. I don't. I want you to start to pull together your resources. And when I say pull them together, I'm speaking of helping to pull yourselves with other people to be able to buy real estate. If you're deciding whether or not you should sell real estate right now, you might find that right now might be the time for you to sell. But before you make that decision, write down all the pros and cons and decide on, once you sell, how are you going to reinvest that money? Where are you going to reinvest? If you find that you can't reinvest, then reconsider. Reconsider of selling that property today. Reconsider. You might decide that you might want to keep that property, or just check with other family members in the neighborhood. Find out from other people if whether or not they want to keep your property or help you to keep your property. You see, because there's a lot of situations going on right now, which is we're in a housing dilemma. But that dilemma does not have to affect you. It really doesn't. It could only help you to push you forward, to make you decide if you're going to continue to rent, purchase real estate, sell your real estate, or decide on the house you live in right now Are you going to buy a smaller house, or are you going to trade up? Decide if you're going to trade up or trade down. How you figure that out is you talk to real estate professionals to help you. Talk to real estate professionals to help you. We're in a real situation right now. I love real estate. Real estate is my life. I've been in real estate all my life. And I know that real estate will secure your financial futures. But also, real estate can really hinder your progress sometimes. So I want you to be able to purchase real estate and thrive. That's what I want you to do. I want you to purchase real estate and know that this piece of real estate is going to help your financial future in the future. But I also want you to know, be wise. I have a wonderful, wonderful person in my life that says, be wise as a serpent, but harmless as a dove. What does that mean? That means get serious, get very, very serious about your life. Get serious on how you make a decision in purchasing real estate, selling real estate, or just staying where you are. Just stay where you are. And sometimes you have to stay quiet and listen to your inner voice speak to you, so you'll know whether or not what you should do. Buy real estate, sell real estate, or keep the real estate you have. That's a very important decision. But you know, this housing dilemma will not hurt a lot of people. This housing dilemma will definitely know that it'll only help you to know that you might want to pull your resources together. And when I say pull your resources together, I'm speaking about other people to pull your resources together. Pull them together. Pull your resources together. That's the only way that we're going to survive this housing dilemma. Find a friend, find a neighbor, find a family member, and say, we're going to beat this housing dilemma. Because you know why? Because this housing dilemma is just temporary. It's not forever. So know that you will have all of what you choose to have. So if you have the deep determination to succeed, you will not fail. Continue to dare to dream with me, your host, Denice Smith.